being inspired by something like that, and someone like Charlie, because you also had a story, and I'm like, how come this guy is just building these gyms and he's just doing this? So I also like got to know you a little bit and got inspired from your story, and then it shaped the direction that I wanted to go, the type of training that I like doing, and it just kind of put a laser focus on what I wanted to do.
Come on.
Preparation is key.
Now I run, say in the last 3 years, like I genuinely run because I love it.
Just want to do something legendary in your life.
Welcome to Manor Sound, guys. Today we're talking about the rise of run clubs. So before we sort of deep dive into the conversation, could you each tell us a little bit about yourself and how running became a part of your lives, starting with you, Charlie?
Wicked. I'm Charlie, the founder of Manor. We are a fitness and gym community with a big vision. That's to impact the physical, mental and social health of 10 million people. Running first came part of my life. I was actually a runner, believe it or not. I don't look like it now, but I used to do a lot of sprinting. I then became a professional fighter, so running was a massive part of the training. Yeah, we actually all go way back. Been working with Loz for forever almost, and I've known Woz for a very long time, and he's been part of the Manor story from the very beginning. My career as a coach and my journey as a coach has been an interesting one. So I'm a movement coach, strength and conditioning. I run an organisation called Shred with Woz, which put on pound shred events. So pound shred means raising pounds whilst shredding a few. Out of lockdown, I built a online community which helped thousands of people move in the pandemic and a time of need. Back then, pound shred used to stand for get a shred for less than £1 a day. But when people opened back up and we kind of opened the world back up and everyone went back into gyms, I turned it into a charity-based event organization, which kind of doesn't charge you for the mat that you buy when you come to one of my events. You just make a donation for your mat.
Yeah, that's it. And you, Lauren?
Quite difficult to follow on from that, but I'm Lauren. I am the Higher Ops and Running Lead at Manor. Like Charlie said, I've worked with Manor for a long time, actually 6-7 years maybe, I can't remember, but yeah, a long time. I remember walking into Victoria and seeing it as just a car park with nothing else in it, and seeing kind of like the bare bones of the space. So it was amazing to kind of like be there from the beginning, and I started out as a personal trainer, and then now I've kind of developed into a bit more of a role at Manor. So yeah, it's been good to work alongside Charlie for a long time and enjoy like making other people run, which we'll probably find out about later.
It's also worth noting that she's a burpee world record holder. So
was it you that?
Yeah.
It was you that done that.
Most amount of burpees in 24 hours.
Yeah, crazy. I remember seeing the you lot promo in it in the space, and like
the idiot that decided to do that.
How many did you do?
6,247.
Yeah,
that number is ingrained into my brain.
We also have a story about how I know you and how this is kind of a full circle moment for me in general, being on this podcast. It's my first podcast. I've said no to 1,000, honestly, not because I'm any important and more important than anyone else, but I've just said no because it's not something that I really wanted to do. But when you asked me, I was like 100% I'm going to support anything that Manor does. And the reason for that is I actually was a part of the team that built Manor Gym.
Wow.
So all the
like goosebumps, man.
Honestly, the floor, everything, like our friend John, we've got a good mutual friend called John, and he ran a service that fitted gyms, and he was obviously at the time working with yourself. So yeah, I fit the King's Cross location up the road, I fit the Victoria car park, and a couple others. So for me, I wasn't actively an online coach at the time. I didn't even have an open Instagram. It was just a private Instagram page. I was just coaching, I was doing plans and stuff like that. And Manor was the first gym that I walked into and I said, wow, this is different. The car park being not the gym space, the actual car park. I'm like, wow, this concept. I saw the CAD drawing of it and I'm like, yeah, I want to be a part of that fitting this place. So that floor that you walk on in there and all of the things that are in there, I was a part of the team that brought it in. But then moving on from that, it kind of, my journey being inspired by something like that, and someone like Charlie, because you also had a story, and I'm like, how come this guy is just building these gyms and he's just doing this? So I also like got to know you a little bit and got inspired from your story, and then it shaped the way that the direction that I wanted to go, the type of training that I like doing, and it just kind of put a laser focus on what I wanted to do.
Run clubs have been sort of everywhere now. Why do you think they've become so popular recently?
I do think there's been, like I was saying earlier, I think I kind of thought there'd be a bit of a trend and it would kind of like teeter off, but it hasn't. It seems to get more and more and more. You see the number of people into running, like even with people that come to me for personal training, and I'm like, what's your goal? They're like, I want to run. I even want to start running, or I want to do something to the next level. Like I've got clients that are doing like ultra marathons of like 100 miles, and then some people are like, I want to run my first 5k. And I think it's, to me, I think people getting into running in general, it's such an easy thing to access. Like you can literally start and go out and do 1 minute walk, 1 minute run, 1 minute walk until you build up to a 5k. Or there's people that go, I'm going to push the limits and run 100 miles. But I think with that, a lot of the time the training can be quite lonely. Running is generally quite a solo thing. So I think run clubs have come around if people have found an opportunity to take a friend running or meet new people. And I think especially in London can be quite a lonely city, I would say. If you just turn up in London, it's like, well, how do I make friends? There's so many people here. So it's a nice way to, if you're brave enough to go to the run club, like to actually just meet some new people and like create friends that you can do something with on Friday night or Thursday night.
Brands like New Balance and Asics that used to kind of be considered like cringy dad shoes and now like huge, like some of their biggest shoes are like dad shoes from back in the day, but they're like big fashion trends now. Do you feel like the relationship with running and that sort of rise has influenced fashion trends in that sense?
I am going to pass this over because I'm not the man to talk about fashion, but I do have a couple of things to say. As you can see, I think like kind of admiring branding and brands, like I think running brands have just got it right, and like what they're doing is fucking cool. Like I think from a branding perspective, particularly documenting like sports media, running brands are nailing it at the moment. And obviously with the rise of social media and so many people being tapped in, it's like they're seeing that cool shit and they want to run now. Kind of from a fashion perspective, I'm yet to jump on the bandwagon. The one thing I do have is a little running cap because I think it looks cool and it does actually make you run 10% faster. So they say. And on that note, and obviously we might get into it a bit more, I have got my running cap in my bag and I'm going to my first run club meetup tonight, which I'm super excited.
So you're going track tonight, innit?
Yeah, exactly. But on the fashion front, I think you're probably better positioned to speak than us or than me. I can't talk for you.
Yeah, it was because I'm
dodgy socks.
I believe it's had a huge impact. Like I'm organically going to speak about On because I obviously work with them, but not exclusively to just On. I think they're all having such a big effect. Like the Asics, I see like the footballers now, they wear it, they leave their laces undone. It's just like cool for everybody to wear these trainers. And it's now not a thing of your shoe that you wear going out or to make a fashion statement needs to be purpose built for what you're doing. The sports and running, traditional running brands, and they're tapping into it very smartly because I don't know, it just seems like the uglier the better.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the uglier the better. It's like there's no rules anymore. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing on the and I mean that by the shape of it, the color of it, the style. It doesn't have to fit the narrative that you would think, oh, that is a smart or a good shoes.
Lauren, I know you mentioned you're doing an ultra marathon.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm seeing people sort of like level up their challenges, like, you know, the hardest geezer who ran like the length of Africa. And I've seen a few like ultra marathons trending. Why do you think that people are kind of pushing further to those challenges, and what sort of direction do you think running will go in terms of like endurance training?
For me, people like pushing themselves that little bit further because firstly, people are willing to try. So they'll try these things and go, okay, the human body is possible of doing these things. Like I did those burpees, I had no idea I could do that. I still don't know if I could do an ultra marathon. Find out in like 10 days. But I think people like pushing the limits of what they can do, and you see people like the hardest geezer and someone else goes, maybe I can run a little bit further. Maybe I can run a little bit quicker. And it's kind of like just pushing the possibilities of what we can do as people. I think the endurance side of it, like it links in with the fashion, it links in with this. Like, you've seen this, like, there's this like speed project you've probably seen that people ran from like Vegas to somewhere, and it's like it almost became, I remember seeing it and being like, it's become it's like a cult. You like look at it, you're like, I want to be a part of that. And I messaged and I was like, I want to be a part of this because I think that's cool and I like to do horrible things. Especially with the endurance side of it, it's become quite, with the run club and stuff, quite sociable. So like I'm doing the one next weekend with my partner and we're doing it together and we'll run the whole thing together. So it's actually like an experience to do that together. And I had a few friends that were doing ultra marathons back in September, and they create like a run every Sunday, and everyone went out and did it together. And these are people that have never done anything like that before, and they did 100k in Morocco, and it was like, that's wild. It's really cool, and that's what made me go, well, I can do an ultra. I had never considered doing one until I saw them do it, and I was like, well, I need to get in on that. That'd be fun. So yeah, I think it's just people realizing they're far more capable of what they previously thought, and they're just able to push themselves a little bit further. And if you fail, you fail, right? But at least you tried.
I agree with that, like fully, because you just want to do something legendary in your life.
Yeah.
Like, and if you've run a marathon, even if it's just like a half marathon or a full marathon, you're in a very small percentage of the world.
Yeah.
To add to both of that, like one way to challenge it, I think we are all more capable than we actually think. That's one way to challenge it. But just to kind of agree with your point as well, it's like preparation is key. It's like if your friend's doing an ultra marathon next month and you've never ran 5k, you probably shouldn't do that. But if it's like, right, 6-12 months prep with a proper program, with the right structure and kind of, people to support you, then that's probably realistic and you could make it happen. The run club that I was talking about, we're going to London Select, and the kind of leader or the founder of the run crew, Manny, he's like it's a physio, serious guy in the game. He's a physio, but he's a serious runner as well, and he gives so much value to his community, whether they're injured or they need a program. It's all kind of free value that he's providing just to support his community. And I'm really excited to go to the club tonight, but I am a bit scared because like when we met up a couple of weeks ago, kind of the discussion went, he's like, people are setting the bar too low. And he's like, if you can't pull out a sub 20 minute 5k, it's like you're setting your bar too low. I was like, Manny, man, I'm 100 kilos, man. So it'll be interesting to see how the session goes tonight. I've actually seen it. It looks quite tough, but yeah, I know that someone like Manny is kind of, very supportive for his community, and kind of, he's got expertise. So there are some good run leaders, some good run crews, and like, as I said, me personally, I prefer to go and link them and join them, because as in our industry, we're always learning. We're still learning. So of course I could turn up somewhere every Monday. I could warm up people effectively. I can run a 5k, a 10k, a 15 or 20k with them. Of course I can do that. But the people that are already doing it at a high level, I'd rather signpost to them, because as a professional, I feel like if you've got a platform and you're just like inexperienced and then starting up clubs and not doing things the proper way, and you've got these OGs that are here doing their thing and they've been doing it, like if it's raining, snow, they're gonna be out in that track. Like Manny tonight, he's gonna be there every week, whether the run culture was booming or not. Do you get what I'm saying? Whether there was the nice shoes coming out or whether it was high earning industry wise or brand wise, he was gonna be there. Do you understand? Because he loves that. That's his thing. So yeah, jumping on the trend just because, not really on that.
So for anyone who's listening that's sort of hesitant to start running or just get out there and start moving, what advice would you give them?
You do literally just need a pair of trainers. I think it's not being scared to just start. Like, just it's one foot in front of the other, or even the first step can just be putting your trainers on and just getting out that front door, right? And for me, I find a lot of time if clients say to me, I really want to start running, and it's just to find a friend to do it with. I think that's my best advice, because it can be really daunting to go and do something by yourself. Whereas if you find someone that maybe already runs, like you've got a good friend that already runs, or you've got someone that also wants to run, just getting out and doing that, I think just massively helps. It means that you've got someone to be accountable to, that you can chat with, you can you're like, I don't want to go, I'm going to stay indoors, they're like, no, come on, let's go. And I think that's just my best advice. Like, find someone you want to do it with. And if you're struggling with that, then buy yourself a really nice pair of trainers because they're really pretty and you just put them on and get outside.
Yeah, look good, feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely. Well, I think that's all that we got time for today, guys. But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you here.